Hey, Hayden here, and in this particular video I'm going to cover the SilverStone Argon series AR06. Basically it's a CPU cooler. Now I want to address this in particular because I actually picked up this CPU cooler because it is a low profile cooler. It sits like this. I mean, if I bring that a little closer, maybe the camera will focus on it. And this sits in this fashion, meaning basically that's as high as it sits. It sits, you know, it's not as big as this box, but it only goes this high. Other coolers that I saw actually sat this way on the processor and the fan blew through. So basically take the fan part of it and put it up on its side, and it was very, very tall. But for the case that I'm using, the SilverStone case, it's the SG12 case. The case that I'm using it's not as tall. It's not a tall case. It's a shorter, lower height case. So I wanted to make sure that I had a cooler that would have plenty of breathing room, shall we say, to help cool off the processor. There is another thing about this. I didn't get a liquid cooling cooler. This is just an air cooler, heat sink, heat pipe. Now it's got pipes, but it has no fluid. There's no fluid in these pipes, and there's no liquid or anything to help cool this off. And the reason why I did that is I talk about the processor in another video, but what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to overclock my processor. I did already discuss this in the i7 7700K processor video. I didn't discuss it. I discussed that I wasn't going to overclock it, but I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm not going to overclock the system. I'm not going to try to push the performance. Basically, I want to use the manufacturer's recommended conditions and protocols to make sure that I'm not overtaxing the system, but I do want to cool off my processor. And the one thing I didn't do is we'll see it in another video when I actually open up the box and get ready to install these things into the motherboard, is that the years and years ago when I was building computers more frequently, the processor would come with a heat sink in it, basically just the metal part that attached, with you put the fluid on there, or the grease, whatever it is, and it's not grease, but you stick the cooler on top of that, and it was just basically fins, metal fins that came off it. There was no fan or anything on it, and but that's what it is. They've advanced to the point where they actually need to have their own little fan specifically for the cooler. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But again, the reason why I picked the SilverStone AR06 cooler for my particular computer that I'm building or assembling is because it's a low profile or lower profile cooler, and it doesn't use fluids because I don't want to have fluids floating around inside my machine. Maybe that's just me. Maybe everybody thinks it's okay or whatever. But for me, this is my personal opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. My personal opinion is I don't want anything fluid hanging around inside my electrical box. So with that, that'll wrap it up for the SilverStone cooler, and we'll see you in the next video. With that, take care and be well.